My name is Efetobore Sodje, Bury Football Club, defender. I was born in England, 1972, in Greenwich, London. At the age of 6, I went back to Nigeria. The whole family went back to Nigeria. I'm one of 10, one of 11. All went back to Nigeria with my parents, and we grew up in Nigeria. Education, lived in Nigeria for more than 24 years before I came back to England. The schooling, I did my primary school, secondary school there. I got into university, but I opted out because I wanted to play professional football. But we went to boarding school, and that's how we had the experience of just, how to take care of ourselves and live alone. No, apparently when we were in Nigeria, the main thing, obviously in Nigeria and Africa, the main thing that they always think about was to play football. But then, back in those, about 20 years ago, African parents never wanted their kids to play football. There's 4 things they wanted them to do: to be a doctor, an accountant, an engineer, or a scientist. Those are a lawyer. So they never wanted us to go into it. If you played football, it was like you were a frog back in those days. But we had my parents said to us, listen, you want to play football, fine, but you have to go to school. So we were going to school. Then I was in boarding school, but when we had a match on the weekend, I left the school to come and play, but my parents never knew that. So I was just, always on the streets playing football. So we grew up playing football on the streets, bare feet. So I'm one of those kids that you see on TV playing with bare feet. I was one of them, so I'm proud to say yes, I played with bare feet. It's funny because obviously I started playing in Nigeria, then in the local team. Then back in those days, when you want to go for trials, they don't come and spot you. You have to just have the courage to go to a team, knock on the door and say, can you have trials? And they have a certain time, they bring trials, the trialists to the team, and it's 5 minutes. And if you don't do something in 5 minutes, you go. And that's what we did for a long time. So we went to a non-league side, and what we did, we played against the professional side, and we did beat the professional side. So they just said, okay, they wanted 8 of us from the team to come and join the professional side. So that's how we got spotted. But when coming to England, it was funny enough because I was watching my brother, Stephen, playing on the park, and it had the Saturday League in London. And I was just watching him play every day on the code. And they were short of a player, and I thought, can I play? And they asked me to play. And from there, we had a guy called Ron Howard. He was his chief scout for Millwall. And then he just said, come and join us in Millwall. And that's how I started my career. No, my first, I left Millwall to Wimbledon, then from Wimbledon to Stevenage. So I played for Stevenage for 2 years. We got promotion, but we couldn't go up because the ground was really not up to credit for the league. Then I left there. Then my first contract and professional club in England was Macclesfield. I was signed by Sammy McElroy and played for Macclesfield for 2 years. He's always been great, and that was in 1996, and I still speak to him like every day. I spoke to him about 2 weeks ago, funny enough. I've been fortunate with all the managers I've played for. I always speak to all of them, all the ones that I've played for, because Bury's my 10th club, so I've played for 10 clubs already, 8 promotions. So I think all the managers would like to speak to me because we had achieved a lot of things together. From Macclesfield, I went to Luton because I wanted to move higher because Macclesfield was in the lower, I think the old Division 3. I think you were not born by then. No, but it was the old Division 3, which was in '96, and then from there we moved up I had to go to Division 2, which was Luton. And from Luton, I went to Colchester. From Colchester, I went to Crewe. From Crewe, I went to Huddersfield. From Huddersfield, I went to Yeovil. From Yeovil, I went to Southend. From Southend, I went to Gillingham. And then from Gillingham, I came to Bury. and that's how in order. But obviously I started with Stevenage, so that's where. Funny enough, all the fans for every single club, I had a very good relationship with them because I did a lot of stuff, not only on the pitch, off the pitch, the community work. Went to schools, spoke to kids in schools. I was guest of honours for different, things, opening halls up. So with the fans, I had a very good relationship with them. So, I'm happy to say that I played for these clubs and enjoyed, interacting with the fans. It's amazing because, being a professional footballer, the main thing that you always want to do is to play for your country, and that's what I did. I got picked to play for my country, and there's no words to describe it. There's no words because it was like that's the main thing a footballer wants to do, to play for his country. And when I got picked, I think it was 99, and I got into the side, which was great for me. But came out of the side after a year, but got back into the side again in 2002, which the ultimate of every footballer's dream was to play in the World Cup, and that's what I did. I got picked to play in the World Cup, 2002 Japan, played against England and Argentina. It was, the Nigerian fans. The one thing with Nigerian fans is once you come and play and you show them that you want to play for the country, they're always going to back you. And I have a good, with the fans from Nigeria, I have a good relationship with them. And even though I've stopped playing now, even when I go back, you'll think I'm still playing at present because when you perform well for them, they're always going to love you for what you've done. And that's what I've done. And I always go back, and the fans are happy with it. I can say I have two because the first person that when I grew up, I was in Nigeria, and it's a very good friend of mine. His name was Peter Unalum, which is an African name, but why he was my role model was because I watched him when I was young playing, and funny enough, he's my very first football boots, he brought them for me. So, and every day when I go back to Nigeria, he's always there. So for the last 25 years, he's been right behind me. He always made sure that I was right on spot, doing what I had to do. I can't drink and all that kind of no smoking. He was like a senior brother to me, that disciplined. I couldn't do anything on the Fridays, and I'm back in Nigeria then. Then coming, the role model here was like Alan Hansen. He was somebody that I supported. I loved watching him play, and I'm a big Liverpool fan because we're the best in the country. Yeah, obviously we got our charity, our foundation, the Sodje brothers. We got our sports foundation, but at the same time, just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I started being a coach for the under-15s for the Warri Academy. So I've done my license. So just stay in football and do the charity work. Yeah, obviously, as you know, I'm one of 11. Four of us play football. So what we decided to do was to come together and give back to the kids back in Africa, because when I was growing up, we knew how difficult it was to really buy a pair of football boots or a kit. So we thought, when we make it and enough, we go back and make sure that we provide for these kids, to give them at least a stepping stone for them to move forward. Because if they're talented and they don't have the equipment, then there's no point of them doing it. So we thought, at least if we give them that stepping stone, we can push them on. So our aim was to build this sports foundation and have a youth centre back in Nigeria. We're raising money for that. And what we intend to do is, educate them about what life is all about. But at the same time, if they want to do sports, we will go out there and help them out. So every year, like every May, we take a pair of 1,000 pairs of football boots. We go to around the schools in all the clubs in England, and they give us their old kits, like Bury, you name it. We've played for 10 clubs, so every club that we play for, we've asked them for kits, and the clubs have given us all the spare kits, and we take them back to Nigeria and just distribute them out to different kids. So it's like first come, first serve. So with the kit and the boots, it's first come, first serve on the streets. We go to clubs, league clubs, which is just the amateur clubs, to give them football boots. But the main issue that we try and do is to at least a pair of football boots here is what costs £80–90, and over there in Nigeria that can feed the family for two months. So us giving them the pair of football boots is a joy to them. I can't really pick, I have to be honest, hands on heart, I can't really pick which one, because all the 10 I've played for, I've had a good relationship with every single, not just the fans, not only the players, but the staff members. I know all the people that work for all the clubs and everything like that. So even when I go back now for clubs I've played for, like Huddersfield, Stevenage, the people that I've known there, they're still there, and I had a good relationship with them. It's like when I first signed for Bury, 2008. After 1 hour, I knew all the staff members' names, and so the relationship I have with all the clubs have been great. So for me to pick one out, it'd be unfair. We Africans with so many, we've got good talent. I would say, it's big. It's big. Sunday Lise, Stephen Ketchy, because he's somebody that everybody wanted to be like. Then a good friend, Kanu. So there were people that you can stand up to, and you think, you look at and say, yeah, they made Africa, big and proud. People were proud of. Even the non-Africans, when you name these people, they're always like, oh, what about him and that? And I can say, I'm happy to say I know these people and I've played with them. Kanu is somebody I was very close to. He's done amazingly well for himself, for Nigeria and for Africa as a whole. So, the credit he has got is good. Then we name about, like the Kochas. And, everybody, he came to this country and did things that people can't, they still talk about. So they're big, massive people. Then you talk about George Weah, what he has done to, Liberia, because they had a war in their country, but only when he arrives in Liberia, all guns have to go down, just because of him. So these are role models that we have to look at and, take our hats off for. Wow, massively. I think if you look at the whole 92 teams in this country, from the top of the league, from Premiership down to the bottom, even Ryan Premier League, there is an African player in every league, and that's to let you know how far the African players have done, for a long, long time. And even in the Premiership now, there's any team that you pick out, there must be at least 2 to 3 African players, and not just African players on the bench that are playing. So that's how good these African players are. It's very good for them to come to this country and obviously, get a living and show what skill we have over there.